Welcome to mikeybalzz Fishing. I want to start this video off with a little bit of gratitude. And I think sometimes as anglers we need to do that because like literally when we go fishing, like so many things can go wrong. So I drove 50 miles and they're strapped now without my rod strapped. And those are two 200E Corrados I could never get again, and two like expensive fishing rods. And they were like in the back of the boat pretty much, but they didn't knock out. So a little bit of gratitude. Be thankful for all the fish you catch. Be thankful for getting to the lake. Be thankful for being like able to go fishing. Like it's a wonderful thing. But let's get to the brass tacks. So here's what we're gonna do. I don't know if it's gonna turn out because #realfishing, like literally I shoot the intro to these videos and then I go try something and I either absolutely fail, which usually happens, or sometimes I'm successful and like we're able to learn something, pick something up and do a test. So today is gonna be a test. One question I get from you guys a lot about punching is, when do I use a punch skirt? And that's a question that I have a lot of times too. I got one tied up right now that's a Gambler quick change punch skirt and a why not and a 1.5. My general rule is on reservoirs / river systems, when you're punching mats or cane or whatever, a punch skirt is good, especially when they're on a good punching bite. They'll eat a little bulkier bait. I'm going to show you a quick way to modify the punch rig and set it up so one, it's quicker to use, and two, it actually works better and you don't miss as many bites. But we're going to go out and we're going to test whether a punch skirt is a good thing, like right now we're kind of in late summer, or whether it's something that, you know, maybe another day will work. Really the big key is it mimics brim, and that's what we've talked about a lot with this punching. And there's a lot of brim in the grass. I've seen them, and really kind of bulking up the bait in a way with that punch skirt can really be fruitful. But there's nuance to it. There's a slightly different way to fish it, which I'll explain to you as we go through. But we're gonna go out and we're gonna do a punch skirt test. When do you use them? When do you put them on? When do you use it to flip mats? Why do you use it? And how to rig it up the best way. So I hope you guys enjoy this because I love punching. So if it works out, this is gonna be an awesome video. But make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Like I said, dude, I can't believe the way this channel is blowing up, and it's 100% thanks to you. And if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, there's been a lot of guys watching the videos who are not subscribed. I'm not saying you have to, but if you enjoy real fishing content, whether we're talking about fishing, whether we're out here actually practicing a technique and actually catching fish and going through the process that every single one of us as anglers do, we go out, we try something, we see if it works, we see what kind of success, we see what we can pick up learning from it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because that's the kind of content I try to bring you. It's straight, it's simple, it's kind of groundling. We're blue collar anglers, dude. Like we're normal people because this is #realfishing and that's the way I operate. I can't do that other stuff. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get out on the water. So first things first, how do you rig up a punch skirt? Well, I have a classic punch rig right here. Hack attack hook, 4-aught, 1.5 ounce hog tech weight, double bobber stopper. And you can use any punch skirt you want. I'm not telling you what punch skirt to use, but this is a Gambler quick change KO punch skirt. Now, here's a reason why it's called quick change. And I'll also note, I modified it, I cut it down. So I made it a little smaller in that. We're gonna talk about that in a second because I like a little more compact like presentation. But with the quick change, you don't have to retie every time. So I can just take this and slide it over my straight shank hook and just pop it on and boom. I got a little punch skirt rig. So the other thing that I do, and you can do it with any plastic, I like doing it with why nots. BB crickets are awesome, dude, like awesome. But I got a why not. I like a more compact punch skirt rig because basically, if you guys have ever fished a jig, so if you're fishing a jig versus a Texas rig, you can throw a 1/2 ounce Texas rig, say in 10 to 15 foot, and you're good. But if you're throwing a jig, you have to throw a 3/4 ounce because the skirt puts sort of drag on the weight as it goes down. And it's the same concept with punching is when you're using a punch skirt, it slows down the fall and can inhibit the fall, which is a positive we'll talk about in a second. But I like to make it a little more compact so it falls normal. So about maybe a 1/2 inch off. And then what I'll do, it's pretty classic rigging. So you go ahead and you Texas rig it, slide that hook out, pull it through, and then you're gonna just bury it deep in there. On the why not, it does have a joined tail, so I'm gonna pull that apart, and you got two wonderful kicking legs. Now let me show you something real quick. So where I like to throw a punch skirt, you'll see there's some mats. They're not very thick. I like a punch skirt around a little more like scattered kind of stuff, and there's a couple reasons. A punch skirt's harder to get through. We talked about that. You need to usually, say if I'm like punching this with normally like say a 175, I might need to go to a 2. If I'm punching with a 1.5, I might need to go to a 175. But if the cover's a little bit sparser, you can use your standard punch rigs, like whatever you're using, and just throw a punch skirt on it and get through. But it does inhibit you to get through, so you gotta play around with your weight size. The other thing too is it slows the fall. In this sparse stuff, I don't really want like a super heavy bait. Like sometimes you do, like perfectly honest, you know, fishing is fishing. I'm just telling you like my perspective, but I don't want a super fast fall unless they're absolutely chewing it. So that punch skirt, just like a jig, it slows the fall, it slows the way the bait moves, and it flares. So it slows it down, makes it a little more like the bream kind of swimming around the mat. The other reason too you might want to go to a punch rig is if you want a bulkier presentation. As you can see, even though this is cut down quite a ways, it's still like a pretty big presentation. And colors wise, you know, I'm trying to match the brim, but it gives me a little bulkier presentation, so hopefully I can get a bigger bite. But what's one of the main reasons? It's different. So a lot of guys aren't going to go through the effort to actually put on a punch skirt or try it or experiment with that when they're flipping. If they're flipping, the easiest way to flip a mat or punch cover is to just put a plastic on a Texas rig and get after it. So it's a way that you can change the look of your presentation, and a lot of stuff that you'd want to throw a jig in but can't, like this kind of like sparse grass, a punch skirt will ride a lot clearer through it. So you can kind of use it as your secondary jig or your heavy cover jig. It gives you that same presentation. Fall's a little bit different, there's no doubt about it, but it's a way you can put a jig style bait into heavy cover. So I guess I like the punch skirt. It's a 3.5, 4 pounder. That was awesome. Sorry about the chest cam. It's a little hot out for that, but let's get her back real quick. Go back down into that clean water. Wow, so angry. She ate that punch skirt. That's just, you know, magic crawl, a little why not? And dude, she knocked slack in the line. I had to reel up to catch up with her. It was dunk. I mean, that's what's beautiful. Now, I don't know, that's a sign they're eating it. Let's continue on and kind of see. One big question that I always have, so if you're in like a real tight tournament, you know, I don't catch a lot of dinks on a punch skirt. I'll catch them here and there, but like usually it's better fish. So if it's a 12-pound tournament and you don't think it's going to take much to win, probably want to go with the straight punching thing. That's another thing I'll throw at you. But if you're going for bigs and you're trying to experiment a little bit, that punch skirt's fun. So a couple keys when you're punching, and this is just general punching, try to keep your bait as low as possible as you're pitching it. Now sometimes that's not always possible because you got to like pendulum them up to like punch on through the mat. But what it does when you're keeping it low is basically it makes the splash less. And sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't, but I just err on the side of caution. And I try to be as subtle as I can, especially like we said, we're putting this in like semi-sparser mats. So like I try to be subtle because oftentimes too, they're right under the mat, dude. Like when they're on, they're like right below that roof. And if you splash them, yeah, they might eat it because they think it's a brim flicking or something, but you also might scare them away. The other misconception is, so this time it doesn't have it, but say you pitch in there, you know, your bait goes down, whatever, it goes to the bottom, and you reel it back up, and well, that doesn't have it either. Well, basically though, if you get some junk on your bait, unless it's like a giant wad and it kicks your hook out and everything, like you really, well here, this is a good example. So I'm gonna bring this thing in and it's still got like a little bit of junk on it. Dude, you don't need to pull that stuff off. It might make it a little annoying to pitch, like that garbage pitch right there. But that stuff, when this bait hits the mat and goes under, the only thing that goes under is the bait and the weight. Like it doesn't, you might come up with more grass, but like that stuff, it all gets pushed back when you actually go through the mat. So unless you're like really hung up, you don't always need to be cleaning your bait, because that's one of the most annoying things, and it prohibits you from getting in a good flow of punching down a line or targeting isolated stuff, especially if you're like pumping the bait and being real intricate in that. Fish on. Well, he liked the punch skirt. I'm sweating balls. It is hot. And that's part of the reason these fish use this cover. It's oxygenated with the grass, and it's a little bit deeper, and it provides shade. I'm not a strong believer in them needing the shade. I think they use it for ambush points, and because it's oxygenated and because there's brim there. I'll throw you a quick thing too, along with what I'm about to show you. When I look at these mats down here, so you can, I hope you can see, like I can see the edge in that, and I'll try to get a camera underwater to show you, but I see a little like 4 to 5 inch brim just swimming around the edges of it, and I can just see them. And what I'm thinking is those bass are nestled, maybe not way in there, maybe towards the edge, but they're just nestled in there. And when one of the brim go by, they go like dog eats treats. But what I'm going to show you is you can do whatever you want to do. This is just something I like to do. I've always talked about like swirl colors and trying to be a little more natural. I like using a different colored punch skirt than what my punch bait is, and I try to complement them. So in this case, I have a magic craw, which is kind of that weird green pumpkin that turns blue, like iridescent blue, and then the Why Not in Killer G, which is a purple with some blue fleck and green pumpkin. The brim are a lot of different colors. Most of them that I've seen have actually been a little more blue, so I might change it out. But I like mixing up my colors with the punch skirts just to provide contrast. And there's a million different punch skirt colors. So I think it's something, Guntersville is such a pressured lake, it's something to be different about, like to show them a different look. Because if they're set up and they're there, like they're gonna eat it. They are. Thunk, like. But try that out. I mean, it's kind of cool. And my buddy Joe Holland, he used to fish the FLW tour. When they were like pitching and punching like cane and really like sparse stuff, mats down on the south end of Okeechobee, they actually would double up their punch skirts. They'd put one on and they'd put a second one on with 2 different colors, so that when it would flare, you see that's right side up, that's upside down. When it would flare a different color because there's a big shell cracker in there, so they'd use like a red or something like that, and it almost looked like their gills flaring and stuff. It was a pretty cool deal, and they caught some bigs. They didn't catch a lot of small ones, but they caught some bigs. Freaking, I think Joe got like second in a Costa doing it. It was pretty cool. That might be a better one. Nope, just an A. Oh, of course you gotta go on the other mat. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I think they like the punch skirt. Oh, and she just came right off. That's why you keep the pressure on. You don't want to tug too hard, but you keep some good pressure on them. General consensus, the punch skirt is working. Let's get her released. Thank you. Why'd you have to go on the other mat? You get the message pretty quick when a punch skirt is working. And if it is, pitch it. Like, you can get some monster bites on it. And like I said, it's something that they haven't seen. So it's kind of fun. You can play with your colors. I'm all about keeping myself interested. We've talked about it in kind of like the motivation videos and that. And a punch skirt's a great way to kind of dimensionalize your plastics. You know, you put on a plastic, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go flip a worm, woohoo, you know. So it's a way you can kind of modify that presentation, make it a little unique, show them something different. And it's a great way to mimic brim. And this time of year, I don't care if you're in Wisconsin, I don't care if you're in Florida, that's what they're eating. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. The wind's kicked up a little bit, but I have another couple stretches that kind of set up like this. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna pitch them with a straight plastic. And before anybody drops all the trolley comments down in there, I know this is not a perfect science experiment. I know, like, all that stuff. Like, I know people are still gonna comment like, oh dude, the fishing could have changed, whatever. You guys who really watch the videos know, I'm just trying to like see what happens. You know, it's a basic experiment. It's kind of a thought experiment a little bit, but like, We're gonna try it, see what happens. It's not a perfect experiment, so nobody get their panties and shorts in a truffle, okay? We're gonna go pick up a soft plastic though, and we're gonna get rid of that punch skirt, and we're gonna flip some more mats, and we're gonna kind of see what happens. But definitely try a punch skirt. Punch skirts are fun, dude. Stay on there. Stay on there. This is the naked plastic, guys. We're just gonna do that. And there's no fish. Son of a gun. Son of a gun. Can you say not what I expected to happen? We missed 3 bites on a straight plastic. We caught all our fish with the skirt, with punch skirt. And the reason I say that, like, this is just kind of my bias. You usually catch numbers with straight plastic, and that's been my experience. So I don't know if it's the pressure, you know, Lake Guntersville's around for the pressure. Maybe I showed them something different. People have been maybe beating on the stretch, and they've seen a bunch of creature baits, a bunch of plastics. I don't know. This is not a science experiment, but I wanted to show you kind of how that punch skirt works and when it can be useful, why and how, and its shortcomings. You know, it got a little bit windy, it got hard to get through some of that grass for a minute, and it definitely slows the fall, makes for a bulky presentation, and you do miss some bites because it is bigger. But let me show you the ones that I use. This is the one we were using. It's Magic Craw, and it is that quick change. I got some skirt material in there, but you can see the hole's a bit bigger. There is also another variation that's kind of cool if you really want to get technical. You can see I got a whole bunch of them, and then I actually have another like 7 bags back there. But one that's kind of cool is this guy. If you guys are OG viewers of Mikeybalzz Fishing, you'll remember a Starflash skirt video that we did. Starflash is basically like a round rubber, and we make some punch skirts with that. It flares a bunch more, but it does drag more on the bait, so it's harder to get through some of this stuff. But if you really want to get technical and play around with some stuff, Starflash with the round rubber. When it comes to plastics, we're using a Gambler Why Not. Now, in reality, like any kind of creature bait, but one thing I will tell you is I like more compact stuff. So a Why Not, thicker body on it, I can cut it down. I don't like as much like a stinger or like a bigger creature bait. One of my favorite things on a punch skirt is this guy right here, and you guys have seen it in the punching videos before, a BB Cricket. It is an awesome compact presentation, and what's nice is you get that slenderness of the BB Cricket plus the punch skirt, and it's a very compact but flaring presentation. It's definitely different, but a BB Cricket on the back there. But the reality is you can put whatever plastics you like on there and just try it out. It's one of those things. That's why I like the quick change too. I can just like slide one of these on and go for like 30 yards and see if it works. If it works, we'll keep it on there. If it doesn't, I just slide it off. I don't have to retie. But you can use whatever plastics you want. I'm not gonna be, this isn't hashtag pro, bro. Like, I'm not gonna be like, dude, this plastic will change your life. Like, I don't work that way, and these videos don't work that way. Just something compact. I'd recommend maybe a smaller beaver bait, but compact pitching and punching baits. Compact craw baits, even compact creatures, but I tend to stay away from them because I want more of a slender kind of presentation. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Get out there and try a punch skirt. All these lakes have brims usually, and summer is a great time for the bass to actually eat them, so it's a great time for us to make presentations that look like them, and it's a lot of fun. There's nothing better other than an epic like offshore ledge bite, in my opinion at least. There's nothing better, like a 10XD 49 pound bite, but whatever, that's another deal. But there's nothing more epic than, dude, when they But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll put links to all this stuff down in the description box down at Tackle Warehouse. And tell me your experiences with punching and flipping, matted stuff of any kind on your lake. Let me know what you do in summer, if there's any little tweaks, any kind of little, because in the end, dude, like, we're hashtag pro. Like, I almost said a naughty word. We like go out here and learn stuff. Like, yeah, we might not be on the water every single day, but we get out here, we learn little nuances, we learn things about our region, about our local lakes, and we're the knowledge base, and we're sharing it back and forth, and that's what it's about in my eyes. But tight lines, guys. We'll see you back out on the water or from the bass cave. I'll give Bog a pet for you, but till then, we're out.